Coming up next on an emergency edition of the CHGO Cubs Podcast, Trade Line Edition. Moves exploding all over the big leagues today, right up to the deadline. We'll take you up to that point, and the Cubs are right in the middle of it. Getting busy today. We'll break it all down next. Hey, Chicago, what do you say? It's the CHGO Cubs Trade Deadline Show presented by our friends at Xfinity, and we are live from the Xfinity Loft, and we are counting down the minutes to the trade deadline. But Jed Hoyer's been busy this year.
Yes. It's good.
Dude.
It's good.
Dude.
Joey's
I am excited.
I got a tranquilizer dart in his neck earlier, and he's still like this.
Don't need it. Woo. Not today, everybody. If you don't care about the Chicago Cubs, that is fine. But guess who does? Jed Hoyer. Mm-hmm. Jed Hoyer cares about the Chicago Cubs, and he is proving it to you right now. We're going to get into all the different moves, but I promise you, all we wanted, right, was not only some activity, but something of some substantive value. They have done that in spades. We're going to learn about a couple of players today, more specifically Ryan Zeferjahn. But no, this is the anti-last year. This is the opposite of what they did last year.
Yeah.
Last year they said Andrew Kittredge, Rogers around the fringes. Let's see what we can do. Hey, Willie Castro, let's see if you can play once a week. This is not that team. Tyrone Taylor is like the fifth or sixth dude that they're picking up on this team, and he mashes lefties. This is a completely different trade deadline because your general manager of the Chicago Cubs cares about winning this year. He thinks they've got a shot, and guess what? I do too, damn it. I love Clay Holmes. Kevin Gausman, great move. We're going to break it down. I am pumped. I am going to cook. What do you want to eat for dinner? Because the Cubs are serious. They're dangerous. Brewers haven't done jack today. I'm pumped. Don't stop now.
Oh, that's Joey Christopoulos. I'm Luke Stuckmeyer.
Dude.
That's Justin Roman, also known as Roman. And Sarah running the ones and twos.
Go Cubs.
Yeah, I agree. Shout out to everybody in the live chat already, huh? We got almost 300 jumping in right out of the gate. We had over 1,000 of them last night.
Yep.
And there's lots to talk about. There are so many avenues. So don't forget, after tonight's game, we will have a full hour post-game show as well. So if there's anything you're thinking, hey, these guys aren't talking, don't worry. We still got a post-game show tonight.
Yes.
And we still could have another move. Don't know.
Yeah.
We'll wait and see. But I'll tell you this, it hasn't been Twinkle D.
Or Twinkledum.
No.
Twinkle wow.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is like, listen, we get a lot of negativity in our chat about the front office, and some justified, some not, but like everybody was like, watch again, Jed, he's going to do nothing. He'll do nothing. But like, he didn't do nothing. He did a lot. And Joey, you kind of named all these guys. He got Gausman. He got Clay Holmes. He got David Peterson as well. I mean, ultimately, like you got to put him in this deadline deal as well. Ultimately, Jed Hoyer did a lot, and this reliever from the Angels right now, he's under control until 2030, right? So that's a controllable high leverage arm that we'll have at the back of our pen for the next few years, So ultimately, it's a good time to be a Cubs fan. Again, I don't think, I don't know what's going to happen. Are we done? I mean, he got everything that we all wanted. Is there more out there? Who knows? But ultimately, we're going to be here until the deadline and a few minutes after, I'm sure. But if this is it right here, it's been a great, great, great deadline. And then let's rock. Let's walk in October and do some damage.
All right, let me go through the list of guys that I like to include Peterson in the trade deadline.
Yes.
It was just a very early trade deadline move. So the Cubs have added Clay Holmes, Tyrone Taylor, Ryan Zeferjahn, Braxton Garrett, Kevin Gausman, David Peterson.
Great.
They have given up their number 2 prospect, Jefferson Rojas, Mo Baller, Mason McGwire, Jonathon Long, Jace Beck, Brett Bateman, Ty Southasheen, and Cole Mathis. Okay? Listen, that doesn't mean they haven't given up good guys. A lot of people love Mo Baller. He hasn't had the season he wanted to have. Still could turn out to be just a true hitter in Major League Baseball. But the Cubs didn't give up Pedro,
Shaw.
It's about
They
the
didn't-
names
they-
not on the list.
They didn't give up Shaw. They didn't give up Jackson Wiggins. They didn't give up Ben Brown, whether or not teams were interested in, going for an injured guy. I would say in some big moves, teams were.
Absolutely.
Hartshorn,
Hartshorn, the guy that's exploded onto the scene.
Wiggins,
Kepley, they still have.
Caleb Wing, Kepley, Ethan Conrad.
So
Dude.
Jed Hoyer has made this team better. He desperately needed pitching, and he's added a lot of it. They've added 5 pitchers.
We needed it. I mean,
5 pitchers.
That's the thing is our offense has been statistically very, very good. I know this weekend was kind of rough, but statistically our offense has been very, very good. Our pitching has been decimated. It's been injury. It's been one injury after another. We needed arms. And so Luke, you're saying we got 5 arms? He went out and got 5 arms to help this pitching staff, and that was our weak spot. So he strengthened the weak spot. And now, like Joey, a couple of days ago, you said, just get that pitching war a tick or few up, right, to match the. He did it, right? His deadline has been so good so far. And again, I'm going to stand by this. If this is the end of the deadline for us, it's been a phenomenal deadline. And props to Jed Hoyer. And again, I hope everybody in the chat can believe, and kind of give props where props are due. Fine. You want to be mad last year? Fine. I get it. But this year is not that. It is the opposite of that. And he put us in a strong position to have a great rest of the season and beyond.
What's up, Godfather CHGO? Hope you're ready to learn Zeferjahn, learn how to spell it, buddy, because that's going to be the new closer for the Cubs. Jed went out and did something that you actually wanted. And before we get into the individuals on this roster, and trust me, we're gonna dive into each one of them, strengths, weaknesses, what makes them great, how they can help us right now. I've got a bit of a hot take on this one. My hot take on this is that the Chicago Cubs should be thanking the Detroit Tigers and the Los Angeles Dodgers today for this one reason. If you roll the clocks back 12 months from now, 12 months back, Jed Hoyer said, man, the market was so tight, the prices were so high, and we just weren't willing to meet. They drew a line in the sand. On whatever deal that they were trying to get done, they drew a line in the sand, and it just never came to fruition. And last year, you saw guys like Mackenzie Gore and Joe Ryan not leave their respective teams. In my personal opinion, the reason why we're seeing so much activity, it has something to do with the labor stoppage, don't get me wrong, but I feel like because the Detroit Tigers sent what I think, in my opinion, is a light package back for Tarek Skubal, I think that set the market. And from then, I think Jed has seen opportunity from that point on. I mean, every single deal that we've seen is like, man, that doesn't really hurt. Like, I'm sad Moisés Ballesteros is leaving, but the more you learn about Ryan Zeferjahn, the more you're like, man, this might be our closer for the next couple of years.
And where was Mo Baller going to play, right?
Well, they went to AAA, and they decided that he's not a catcher.
Right.
So, you move on from him.
And Rojas, same thing.
And when you mention guys like Hartshorn is still here, Shaw is still here, Pedro is still here, they didn't have to part with any of these guys.
Conrad,
any of them. And I think a lot of it has to do with Jed able to make some of these deals based on a market value or a curve, if you will, that was sort of established by Zaire Hope, River Ryan, and one other player, Brady Smith, going to the Detroit Tigers for Tarek Skubal and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Now, don't tell the Boston Red Sox that, because if you look at some of the stuff that they've been trading for Adley Rutschman, you're like, whoa, they kind of paid a little bit over the sticker price, especially with in-division. But I felt like all of a sudden, starting, 2 nights ago, Jed said game on, right? And I'm here. I wouldn't shock me if he makes another move over the next hour or so. But, man, like, we were saying over 2.5. He's brought in 5 guys.
That's crazy.
5 guys.
And when you look at the list, there are still some Las Vegas rolls of the dice in there, right? There's some things in there that unquestionably you're going to get and you're going to make the team better. Zeferjahn makes the bullpen better, period.
Yeah.
Like, that's not debatable.
Exclamation point, actually. Yeah.
Gausman makes the rotation better.
Yes.
Is there a wild card role on that too? Maybe. Might be better. I mean, he could be the guy that pitched Game 6 of the World Series.
That's the thing is, like,
he could be that guy.
That was this past postseason.
Yes.
Game 6 of the World Series.
Right.
6 plus 8 strikeouts against the Dodgers. This is not a guy who had success, only 4 years ago. That's pretty recent.
And a better defense behind him.
Yes.
Okay. Peterson is in there. Like, we could talk about the rotation in a minute, how you think that's going to all unfold, but you're also looking at it and saying, all right, what they've done is what I've been begging for.
Mm-hmm.
Stockpiling arms that can do both things. Starters that might be willing to give you 3 in a playoff series.
Enter Clay Holmes.
Clay Holmes is a perfect example of that, right? Matthew Boyd previously is a guy who's done both of those. We don't know what's going to go on with Braxton Garrett. We don't know if he's just stashed down there because he's only started 2 games in 2 years because of injuries, but 2023 he was really, really good. Mm-hmm. So is he stashed continuing to pitch in AAA?
Where he's done well this year in AAA.
Right, but is he going to come up and be a starter?
Right.
Or is he just stashed down there as future, or is he going to come up and be a reliever?
Mm-hmm.
What happens when Cabrera comes back? Is Cabrera... You have to see how Cabrera comes back. Now, you know that if Steele and Ben Brown come back, they're bullpen guys, but they're rolls of the dice. Those are all rolls of the dice, but they're getting a lot of dice right now. There's a lot of dice to throw out there. And I saw you, Godfather. How dare you? The Godfather, Michael Collada, how dare you? Could you call us the rah-rah guys and say that the Cubs make trades because of people like you, not rah-rah guys like people like us? Godfather, they don't care about any of us. I hate to tell you. They don't care about the 3 of us, and they don't care about you, okay? They care about themselves and the team. They're not listening to any of it, okay? Trust me, they're not. They don't worry about us at all. However, to call us rah-rah guys, I'm telling you right now, would I rather have Tarek Skubal and Bubic instead of the Cubs Hall? Yes, I would. Yeah, I would. I would rather have the Dodgers trade deadline than the Cubs trade deadline. And I think they're a better team, but that doesn't mean the Cubs didn't have a good trade deadline. I'm saying B+, A- for the Cubs right now.
Well, and
that's the way I look at it. It's certainly not what the Dodgers did.
Also, like, the most important thing to sort of focus in on is, and when we talk about people in the chat and what is Jed doing or everything, like, you at least have to understand this, and you have to at least borderline respect it, is that they have a plan. Like, Jed and Tyler Zombro have a very specific plan and type of pitcher that they like to go after. Whether it works out or not, we're about to find out. But this isn't them just kind of randomly trying to find who's available and maybe reading the back of the baseball card and going out and getting whoever they want. All of these guys, to a man, and Lance Brezdowski was doing a great job of it on Twitter. You could see it on Baseball Savant right now. They all have a ton of cut in their fastball. They all have a ton of sweeper, and they all have a ton of splitter. Like, if you pull it up right now, we're gonna run all the stats, but one for right now, Clay Holmes, 55% ground ball rate. That's the Cubs thing. That is a Tyler Zombro, Jed Hoyer special. So these guys clearly have been on their radar for a while. It's about trying to get the right deal done at the right time. And Roman, the most important part is they got the deal done for these guys without getting rid of some of the dudes that we really still believe can help this team, not just this year, and years into the future. And the part about that makes it even better is I think the quality is better this year, and clearly already the quantity is more than it was last year.
Yep.
On a team that we felt pretty good about.
Yep.
I mean, this is – I don't know how people are going to spin this and try and get negative about it. It's really, really hard to see this as anything but a huge positive for the Cubs right now.
1,000%. And Luke, you're right. Yeah, Skubal would have been the prize, right?
Sure.
But I'd argue that the Cubs needed volume too, because we were so decimated by injuries. So we weren't one pitcher away. We did need volume in this situation. And credit Jed, the volume is David Peterson. The volume is Clay Holmes. The volume is Kevin Gausman. We got a high leverage reliever. We needed volume versus just that one pitcher, right? So ultimately, I'm thrilled. I'm so happy with this deadline so far, But Joey, you hit it on the head. We still have Matt Shaw as of now. We still have Pedro Ramirez as of now. We still have Wiggins. We still have our top guys. And ultimately, who we gave up, Mo Baller. I love the guy, but let's be real. After his first month, he tailed off horribly, right? And even in AAA, he's not hitting that great. And he was a guy who basically DH or bust, right? And if you're not crushing the ball, you can't be our DH, kind of a guy without a position, right? And Rojas, ultimately, he's an infielder, right? Well, our infield is kind of locked up for a long time.
That's it.
So you're kind of dealing from surplus and dealing from a guy who doesn't really have a position. So I'm thrilled that we're getting all this volume of quality arms and not giving up our top guys. Like, to have a Matt Shaw and a Pedro Ramirez still on our team as of now and that volume, that's a win-win.
Yeah, and you could even go back, if you want to go through the list of guys they gave up, Rojas, Mo Baller, McGwire, Long, Beck, Bateman, Southasheen, Mathis. You could also include Owen Casey on the list because Cabrera was an offseason.
Yeah.
If you want to go back that
Sure.
far, it's guys that they've acquired to kind of change the mix of players. It is prospects that they have decided to deal. Now, we'll never know, I don't believe, how some of these really went down. We know there was the Detmers report, and maybe that changed, and maybe that floated around, but we'll never know how it all unfolded. I just know this. Pedro Ramirez helped the Cubs one way or another in playing great when he got called up and having a great spring training where other teams could see him.
Yeah.
So he did it twice. So he either helped the Cubs decide, we got to keep this guy over Mo Baller, or we don't know if the other team said, no, we still want Mo Baller over Pedro Ramirez. Either way, it was a value chip that another team looked at. So I'm not going to just say the Cubs said Pedro Ramirez was more valuable. That might be what happened. Or the other team might have said, you know what? We still believe in that Mo Baller guy you had on your opening day lineup, and we'll go that way because if he develops power, wow, that could be somebody special. And the same goes for all those other guys. Rojas was doing his job this year. Okay?
Young player.
Young player. Everybody likes him, but where was he going to play?
Right. These guys
Where was he going to play unless you have an injury? Now you have some other guys that are going to have to fill that void prospect-wise. I think a couple things are interesting. Taylor, we all said, listen, they need another bat. Now, the reason we were saying that is we thought they need another power right-handed bat. I had floated out there Gino Suarez, who's had a bad season, but obviously has plenty of power from the right side. That hasn't happened yet. He's not gone. He's still on the list. And everybody says, well, look at Taylor's splits against lefties. Pretty good.
Yeah.
It's like a 900 OPS. He's got like 5 home runs against lefties. Do we think we're entering the possibility of an Ian Happ platoon?
I do.
At some point in left field. Maybe.
Why not?
Or he's just a pinch hitter, but it might. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. I think you have that possibility now. And you also have the flexibility of using him as a pinch hitter. You still don't have, as far as I know, we still don't have a backup first baseman.
Well, yeah, I'll phrase it like this, where Tyron Taylor is coming over to the Chicago Cubs, right? And yes, he said great season mashing against lefties, .589 slugging percentage. Yeah, 11 extra base hits and I believe 70 plate appearances. At the bare minimum, out of just the due process of how we see this stuff go, Tyrone Taylor will start a game in the outfield, I believe, probably within the next week. Now, whether that's in right field or whether that's in left field, it does create a very convenient opportunity to get Ian Happ off of his feet for a day or two and see if you can jumpstart his season. The only thing that, and I get it, people hate Ian Happ, and he's been terrible. And, man, he's had a really bad weekend. And the numbers are going down, K rate's going up. The only thing that I will say is that it just puts you in kind of a weird spot where, like, if you start Ian Happ and you pinch hit for him in the middle of the game, you, by definition, will have the inferior left fielder out there for when it matters in the crunch time, which is actually the reverse of how you usually go about things. If you want to start Tyrone Taylor and then bring in Ian Happ off the bench, you then kind of subject Ian Happ to maybe the matchups that you don't like so much because you don't want Ian Happ hitting right-handed. At the bare minimum, though, I will say, though, it does give Craig a really nice excuse to say, Ian, we're going to take you off your feet for a couple of days because the brand new guy has to get a start somewhere along the lines. And by doing that, hopefully you're going to jumpstart Ian Happ's season.
Yeah, I think that we are in the second half of the season, right? So we are now almost deadline over, going into October. Remember yesterday when I said that no one's untouchable? For me, no one's untouchable minus PCA, right? Nobody was untouchable. I feel the same way about players playing and regulars. If you're not producing, you're not above getting benched. So, Luke, I absolutely think we're entering time where if Happ doesn't figure it out soon enough, that's a great platoon partner to have, you know? And if Taylor starts, you know, Joey, to your point, you know, Happ could come in later in the game to be the defensive replacement and have that 7th, 8th, 9th and have a lockdown defender in left field. And listen, you know, when you have a guy who mashes lefty, lefties, you're on the short side of platoon anyway, right? So Hap's still getting majority of those starts, being the lefty facing right-handed pitching. But absolutely, everything's on the table. It's not about making friends anymore. It's about winning ball games. And Hap, unfortunately, is having a bad season, and it seems like the eye test is getting worse. So absolutely, bringing this guy in. I'm not against doing a platoon here. Again, it's the short side of the platoon, but a platoon nonetheless. And that goes for anybody. If you're not hitting, you're not playing, we got pieces now to move things around and get guys off their feet to keep them fresh or hopefully restart their season. But absolutely everything's on the table right now.
I like the fact that, and this is mostly because of injuries, he had to do it, but Jed went out there and he got Peterson, Holmes, and Gausman.
Love it.
All three have had success.
Yeah.
All three have something that you would knock and say, yeah, but what about this? He's not this. Now,
a little damaged.
All a little
damaged.
damaged.
To be very fair.
We're all damaged.
Correct.
Come on.
And that's what I was going to say. Those three, okay, would I take Skubal? Yeah, obviously Skubal's the best pitcher in baseball. Would I take Bubic over any of those three?
Also was injured this year as well.
He has a little nick too, but I like Bubic quite a bit too. But again, like what we were saying yesterday, and again, you said it today, Roman, it's like they needed multiple pitchers. Mm-hmm. So you're not going to go out and get three perfect pitchers. And you don't know, you can't count on Cabrera coming back. And you can't count on Boyd being healthy necessarily the rest of the way. And you can't count on Shota's not going to tip his pitches. And you can't count on, but you mix all those things together and you hand it to Craig Counsell and you say, you pick. You pick the right mix here. You find the right buttons.
Yep.
Taylor's a guy he had in Milwaukee and liked, right? So now he's got his mix of guys that however you want to do it.
You make $8 million, show us your strengths.
That's right.
Show us how you handle this ball club. We have rebuilt the roster on the fly out of necessity.
That's right.
Because of the injuries no one saw coming. Now you got everything you need. Show us you're the $8 million manager and let's flourish.
The only difference with that, I would say, is that specifically with Zeferjahn, he is bringing a dynamic element to this pitching staff that Bubic, even if he was healthy, would not bring to this to the table. And what I'm saying is just Zeferjahn is averaging 97.5 on his fastball.
Yeah.
Something they don't have.
We don't have a lot of that on this staff. Credit to Javier Assad. He's gotten it up to about 95 this year. Jacob Webb, resurgence in his fastball around the 95 area. Good for them. But Zeferjahn brings something completely different to this staff. And I would say, too, as well, Clay Holmes, what is it? The sinker's at 93.7. That's about league average. But frankly, when we're talking about the Chicago Cubs, it's a bit above average. So, yeah. I mean, I do like that we're adding something a little bit different to the table here. And the more I'm learning about just the under the hood stuff with Zeferjahn specifically, the more I think that he might be. Gausman has the opportunity to really be the jewel of all of this. A guy that's like, man, he just threw 6 innings in a playoff game, only gave up 1 run. Holy cow, should we re-sign Gausman and do all that kinds of stuff? And Clay Holmes, a little bit of a wild card, but he's more of a Swiss Army knife. Zeferjahn has an opportunity to actually really kind of be the jewel of all of this, not just this season, but moving forward. So I just kind of like all the different things that they've done with this trade deadline.
Under control till 2030. That's a long time.
Yeah, I like it better than it's all on paper. I liked Willie Castro last year when they traded for him, but on paper and what you've seen this year, Zeferjahn looks better to me than acquiring Kittredge last year. And Kittredge
I
turned
saw
out
a
to be
report
very
that
helpful.
they might be trying to bring Kittredge back. So
I'd be fine with Kitty Cat coming back.
In the 6th inning of a game, 1,000%.
You know who I would have been happy with coming back? Caleb Killian. We said months ago I'd have been all right with Caleb Killian being added to the bullpen. Now here, people are talking about the rotation. Yes, I would love Ben Brown in the rotation. I'm not sure that's going to happen if and when he's able to come back. It looks like he's on the path for that, but will the Cubs put him under that kind of stress when he comes back? We don't know the answer to that. They've already said Steele, no.
Yes.
Steele's a bullpen guy, so there's a lefty reliever there.
Ben Brown was an ace. He was an ace this season, so it's like if you can get him back to that point, Oh man, it's nice to have that. But he was also a lights out reliever before that. So he is a guy that could do either one. It just depends on his rehabbing. It depends on his health.
If they say he's a starter though, all right, let's look at the rotation.
Okay.
Gausman, starter.
Yep.
Shota, starter.
Yep.
I mean, you're only gonna first of all, you only need 4 probably in the postseason. 4 starters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although I would like to carry a bunch that can do both. I would like to carry like 7 or 8 of them and just start piggybacking stuff.
We kinda have that.
What did we see in October last
That's
year?
what
It's
we
like
saw.
all hands on deck. Like, you know,
But
we're
for the
running
rest-
2 starters out
for
every
the rest
single
of the
game.
regular season until guys get healthy. Gausman is healthy. Boyd is healthy. Shota is healthy.
Peterson is
healthy. That's 4. So then you're looking at, will Cabrera be healthy? Is Holmes fully back yet?
He did his 3rd rehab start.
Right,
in
so
Triple-
he's real
he's ready, I
close.
believe.
And that
So-
might be pitch count. That might be a bunch of stuff.
Could it be Holmes? Could it be Cabrera?
Colin Ray?
Could it be Colin Ray? I think Assad certainly goes to the bullpen, which is very, very helpful right now, right? But you've got some options in the rotation that definitely make this easier to see the way it's going. And when you look at the bullpen and we said, okay, don't worry, we know they're getting the most out of the bullpen that they're getting now, just marching out guys you'd never heard of.
Right.
And then DFAing the guy 3 days later after he gives you 2 good innings. Like,
Yeah.
okay, so right now, who do we know is in the bullpen? Jacob Webb's in the bullpen.
Well, also guys that are bumping from the rotation. So it's like one of those things where trickle down here.
Those guys, we don't know who they are, but we know for sure what we think, hey, Webb's going to be in a bullpen
Yes.
down the stretch and hopefully into the postseason. Zeferjahn's going to be in the bullpen down the stretch. I think you're going to see Assad in the bullpen the rest of the season down the stretch. Now's where you start to put the different guys in there. You hope that Milner comes back because he's a specialty guy.
They might tell him to take your time.
They might,
Right.
but you don't know. He was pretty effective.
Yeah,
as a specialty
for
guy,
a 2
right?
batter out guy, yeah.
I would say Colin Ray is going to be bumped to the bullpen at some
Eventually,
point. Because and that's good. Wouldn't you rather have a Colin Ray coming out than some of these guys you never heard of before, right? Like Colin Ray can do it, and that makes our bullpen stronger.
But what if your bullpen then had Jacob Webb? What if Palencia comes back?
Oh, please.
So I wouldn't mind Palencia into Webb. I wouldn't, or Palencia, Webb, Zeferjahn. Well, what if Justin Steele comes in and becomes a 2-inning reliever?
Great.
And then what happens to Caleb Thielbar, Ryan Rollison?
Right.
I mean, guys that have really.
That's right.
Now, let's be honest here. I defended him last week, but these are probably marked days for Trent Thornton.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think he's probably going to survive this situation. Tyler
Savali?
Fergie, probably not. And honestly, Ryan Rollison and Caleb Thielbar, maybe they've got a little bit of a competition suddenly between the two of them.
Well, they do if Steele comes back, for sure.
And if you bring Hobie Milner back, those are 4 lefties right there. You probably ideally maybe have 2 of them at your disposal because maybe one of them moves to the bullpen. So, I mean, that's where we're at.
That's so good. Competition is good. You know what I'm saying? Like think about where we were like a month ago. We're grasping. They wanted Luke Stuckmeyer to go out there and pitch. You know what I'm saying? We're just grasping.
I said no, not enough money.
Yeah, exactly. We're grasping for guys. Now we're a month later after this deadline or during the deadline, and now we're talking about bumping guys out. Like, that's what good teams, that's what playoff caliber, championship caliber teams do. They have too many guys that can do it, and only the best survive. And my same mentality about players playing on the field is the same thing when it comes to our pitching staff. May the best guys win. I don't care if you're a nice guy. It's great. We'll have dinner later, but I want the guys that perform in my bullpen, and let's cut the fat a little bit.
Speaking about having a lot of depth, we got 1,100 people in the chat right now. Rock and roll. Thank you so much. Make sure you hit the like button.
29 minutes left.
I mean,
it's not over.
It is not over. And I'm just very, very happy. And I want to believe that Jed and Carter and everybody, Tyler Zombro, and even down to Tommy Hodovy and Craig Counsell, I have to believe that they're pretty satisfied with the game plan that they've put out there. And they were able to get not just the amount of deals that got done, but just like kind of like softening the edges in the living room. Because all season long, unfortunately, you've had these injuries where people are falling, it's like kids falling down and banging their head on the sharp corners of of a table. And finally they went out and they said, you know what? No matter what happens, yes, we do maybe have some money on the couch cushions with Edward Cabrera and Justin Steele and Daniel Palencia and Ben Brown. Those are all really talented names I just said. But they have just made a statement across the sicko nation right now to all Cubs fans that they're not banking on maybe even one or two of those guys coming back and being effective in the way that we know them and see them. So, I mean, they've literally stocked the cupboard with, and the fun part about it, too, is last night, what did we talk a lot about? We talked about Gausman and we talked about Rental. And a lot of these guys could be in the mix moving forward. You know, we're not going to talk a lot about Braxton Garrett on today's show because we got a game to play tonight against the Dodgers, and there's a lot of other guys that they just acquired that are going to help them right now. But he could be a guy that could easily be either a depth piece in AAA, maybe he gets an opportunity and helps us this year, or maybe he's a 2027 guy. So I really enjoy how we worry so much about the Cubs worrying about the 2032 team, and I felt like they did a little bit of attacking the right now and attacking next year, and maybe also even attacking 2028 and beyond. So I don't know. My hat's off to them. I'm actually pretty impressed. I really am.
I am too. And also, I thought all along it was going to be a rental starter and a controllable arm and a reliever, right? What I kind of didn't really think of, and it's just as good, is we got a rental starter out of Gausman, and then Clay Holmes, I believe, has an option, but I'm sure he'll decline it. Maybe extension, whatever.
Player option at $12 million for next year. If he pitches well, you would think that he gets out of that.
So ultimately, maybe 2 rentals, but the controllable arm is in the bullpen. Like that's just as good, man. Like you got 2 rentals and a controllable arm. And I'm with you, Joey. The more I read up on this guy we got from the Angels, like the fact that he's under control till 2030, he's pretty nasty, you know. And obviously, you know, you knock on wood and you hope Palencia comes back healthy and stuff like that. But you know, you're kind of getting a bullpen that is built for postseason with, you know, velocity and high leverage and all that kind of stuff. So I am very excited. And also, you know, I kind of get sick of negativity and everything, and Jed's not going to do anything. He's like, man, he did something, and he did something really, really good. And you know, if we're giving out grades, I definitely give this trade deadline an A at some point. Now we'll see how it ends and everything, if there's any last minute trickling down. But you know, even someone like Taylor, like that fits a need for us. He mashes lefties. Luke, to your point, maybe, just maybe, they're watching Ian Happ. And they're like, you know what? Love ya. Great defender. Great from the left side, but from the right side, it's not cutting it. We got Taylor. You know,
well, it's like
Foster Griffin to the Guardians, by the way, just very quickly.
To the Guardians?
Foster Griffin, Washington Nationals, to the Guardians.
Yeah, I mean, you might see more of what the Cubs were doing earlier in the season when it was a lefty-righty thing. That could be happening midway through the game with Ian Happ and Taylor. We'll see. Jay Cohen with an update on a bunch of these pitchers, and listen to the names. Cabrera and Palencia are going to pitch Wednesday in Iowa.
I love it.
That's good news.
Love it.
Milner's going to pitch Tuesday with Iowa. Hunter Harvey threw a bullpen on Saturday.
Crazy.
Okay, so you're talking about, and Hunter Harvey was one of your big additions in the offseason. Cabrera, Palencia, Milner, Harvey, Steele.
Icing on the cake.
Brown.
Yes.
You have like 6 wild cards. You don't need all. Would it be great if they all came back and had great competition and all were pitching very successfully when they got back? Yeah, but it's not super likely. But if 2 of those guys come back and are rejuvenated and healthy because they've been hurt and on the sidelines, look out.
Yes.
That's a good mix to what you've added. And then you're taking guys out of the rotation that can be added to that mix. So I really would give this a really good grade. It doesn't mean it's going to work out for the Cubs. It doesn't mean they're going to the World Series. It doesn't mean other teams didn't have even better trade deadline moves or off-season moves. But the Cubs have made themselves noticeably better, and I don't think that they just gutted what people said was a bad farm system.
That's the best part, too.
You know what I mean? They still have guys that you think very, very highly of in your farm system. And you take a guy like Zeferjahn. That news broke when Nico Horner was on the radio.
Yeah, I heard it.
Doing his live hit.
I heard it. Yeah.
And as soon as they told him on the score, he was like, oh, yeah. A lot of it, I've had some bad at-bats against that guy.
Nasty.
He's real quirky. He's nasty.
Yep.
and he's definitely a welcome addition. So that was an instant, real response from a player that didn't have time to say too much about it, but could flash back to his own at-bats against the guys saying, like, I don't have good at-bats against him.
Yeah, so let's look at Zeferjahn just really quick. 33% K rate, 97th percentile on Baseball Savant. Walks guys a little bit, so it's going to be a little bit of control issue. They're going to have to try and harness that if they possibly can. But look at the red, ladies and gentlemen. Expected batting average, 161. ERA of 3.66 right now, but expected ERA 2.95. Fastball velo, 87th percentile. Barrel rate, 5.6. That means he doesn't give up a lot of barrels. And here's my favorite one, too, as well. Against his sweeper, the pitch that he uses the most, opponents are hitting 139. Against his fastball this year, he's thrown, what is it? He's thrown over almost 350 fastballs this year. 087 batting average against his fastball this year.
Wow.
41.7% ground ball rate. I mean, this dude is 6'5". He's huge. He comes in and he throws some heat. Another way to look at this, too, as well, as we like to use this stat a lot here on CHGO Cubs, is we like to talk about WAR. So let's talk about WAR just for a second. Now, obviously, we're in a position right now where the Cubs are firmly in the first wild card spot. But also there's some people in this world, sometimes people to my left and my right, we think to ourselves, is there any way that they can catch the Brewers?
Sickos.
How would they ever possibly catch the Brewers,
already.
right?
They're asking it already.
6.5.
So the Milwaukee Brewers went out today. They picked up Dustin May and JoJo Romero from the St. Louis Cardinals. I mean, rooting through St. Louis trash, Milwaukee. I mean, it's beneath you, but I digress.
And according to Gary Ross, a reliever as well.
JoJo Romero.
Did they add Cody Hoyer?
Somebody else too. Gary Ross had put it in the chat.
Oh, added somebody else?
Who added Cody Hoyer? Wasn't it the Brewers? Former Cub Cody Hoyer.
I mean,
legend.
Great.
Legend.
Awesome.
If that's true, he
I
will
digress.
dominate.
My point is simply this. Dustin May so far this season, his WAR is 0.7. JoJo Romero to this point is 0.7. So even if you want to play it, they're adding about 1.4 to their team previous. Maybe they get another 1 WAR out of that in total. Kevin Gausman this season so far, 1.4 WAR. Zeferjahn this season, 0.7 WAR so far. That's 2.1 for those scoring at home. Clay Holmes has not pitched the whole year, 2 WAR of him alone. So in theory, what they've added, granted, already accumulated throughout this year, they've added about 4 WAR to their pitching staff. The Cubs needed that desperately. Now, can you give me 2 to 3 out of those 3 guys alone the rest of the way? I can buy that. I can wrap my head around that. And if it does, and if that does happen, then all of a sudden, Roman, we're adding to that mix of what we talked about last night, where the position group is really, really strong right now. The pitching has been better, but it is not elite. In fact, it's actually bottom of baseball in a lot of different kinds of categories. These guys can help get us a little bit closer to the middle. Yeah. If you get us closer to the middle and we're at the top on offense, now you're really cooking and now you're really dangerous. In terms of the WAR for WAR today, the Cubs almost doubled the Milwaukee Brewers from that standpoint.
Here's the guy that got Antonio Senzatella.
Oh, really?
From
Well, let's look him up.
The
Let's see
Brewers
where he's
added
at.
Bo Naylor, and they did add Cody Hoyer.
He's
former Cub,
fine.
former White Sox.
Antonio Senzatella from the Rockies. They according to Ken Rosenthal.
Great, buying from the Rockies. Super cool move by
but
Milwaukee.
Joey, you're not wrong about the fact that
he's got a WAR of 1 right now. All right.
We added.
Okay.
We definitely added more, and I like our deadline better. Now listen, it's not over. I mean, we're looking at 19 minutes until the hard deadline, but certain things will definitely trickle over the deadline, and we'll see what happens. But all in all, man, I mean, I don't even care about the Dodgers and more. Like, I have to look at what we did at our deadline, and it was fantastic, And I mean, again, maybe something up, slides through or whatever. But Jed and Tom Ricketts to that point attacked a need that we had, and we needed arms. And Luke, you said it at the jump. We got 5 arms, with this deadline, and we needed volume. I can't speak on that enough. We didn't need 1 pitcher. We needed volume, and Jed attacked that by getting 5 pitchers, and it was great, man. It was fun.
A lot of teams feel good about what they did, I think, right? Yeah. Luis Arise adding to the Phillies, and now they're moving Bryce Harper to back to right field.
That is going to be a defensive disaster,
right? It's not a great defense. They just hope to out-hit you. They hope to have guys on base for home runs.
Nightmare on Phipps Street. The field independent pitching for Philadelphia is going to be wild.
Yeah. I obviously the Dodgers like what they did. I think the Brewers fans probably aren't thrilled because they wanted the big Scooble or something like that.
Yeah.
But are the Brewers really the team to make? Yes, they could have afforded to do it, and yes, they did it with CC Sabathia. And by the way, they didn't win the World Series with CC Sabathia.
By the way, they've never won the World Series ever in their history.
Oh, I didn't know
yeah,
that.
Never.
That's fast.
Never. They've never won it.
The Cubs have won 3 World Series. The Milwaukee Brewers have won 0
Oh, that's a
World
funny
Series.
little
I didn't know that.
historical
And
nugget
the Bears
there.
won 2 out of 3 against the Packers, too. I didn't know that. Craig Counsell left them, too. Anyways.
Giannis got traded, right?
Yeah, Giannis is gone, too.
Dang.
Wow.
Anyways.
There's always the Dells.
I think they're happy about it, and frankly, for the Brewers, they're a team that has to win by developing their players and getting them to be stars, and then moving on when the time is right. If that is your only poker chip, this is why we're headed toward a work stoppage.
Yeah.
If that's your only poker chip, even though they've played their hand of poker perfectly, if that's your only chip, you can't really afford to throw those chips away and say, okay, we'll take a rental on Scooble, because now what about the future?
Right.
Like, you can't, you've got to have every one of those poker chips down in the minor leagues that you can for the right move, and generally it's not for a rental guy. So I'm not surprised. And for everybody that's going to say, well, the Rays could win it and the Brewers could win it, but they haven't. They haven't. Maybe this will be the year. The most likely thing to happen is the Dodgers are still going to win it because they have everything. They have the farm system and the money, and we'll see how it goes. But you know what? They were also one hit, one play, one out, basically. 1 inch away from losing the World Series last year. So
yes.
when you have an opportunity to be there, put yourself in the mix, especially when you're a team like the Cubs. They could fix some problems with cash moving forward. Maybe you've acquired guys. Let's say Cabrera pitches well. There's no reason you couldn't trade Cabrera and get some prospects back next year and then go buy different guys, right? Like, those moves are all out there. I think, listen, the Cubs have had 13 pitchers go for a save this year.
35 pitchers have pitched in a Cubs uniform this year.
Or 13
That's
pitchers with a save this year. So,
Yeah.
So
Franchise record.
is Zeferjahn that guy? Has he taken the job from Palencia if Palencia comes back?
Yes.
You think so?
Yes. 1,000%.
I think that's...
Two reasons why. First one is Jacob Webb is officially this year's Brad Keller. It is obvious that they like to roll Jacob Webb out there in the high leverage moments when Craig Counsell believes in out-getters. So if it's the 7th inning and it's the heart of the order, Jacob Webb time. If it's the 8th inning, Jacob Webb time. If it is a closing situation, that's great. That's fine. Like, Roman, I love Daniel Palencia.
Mm-hmm.
He cannot pitch back-to-back days. We're not winning a World Series with a closer that cannot pitch back-to-back days. It is simple as that, and he's running out of time. Now, could he be what they did last year when they brought him in the 7th inning, and can he be a heat-seeking missile that carries you all of a sudden from that moment and snuffs out, a rally by a previous team? Absolutely. But in my opinion, I think they're going to give Zeferjahn every single opportunity to be the closer throughout the rest of this season. In the offseason, let's reassess, like you said, you know what I mean? Because I think Daniel Palencia might even have more talent. But just right now, I don't think they can bank on it.
I think it obviously all depends on health. When does Palencia come back? How much time does he have? You say he can't go back to back, which is accurate right now. But it's August 3rd right now too. So ultimately, if Palencia comes back healthy, man, I can dream of a bullpen of Webb, Zeferjahn, Palencia. Going 7, 8, 9.
Brown.
Ben Brown. It's just we don't really know yet. But I'm definitely not saying no. I'm not saying no to Palencia still being my closer because I saw him last year, phenomenal. I saw him in the WBC, phenomenal. And the guy still throws 100, 101, and that's something I love at the end of my bullpen. So ultimately, let health figure it all out. I think the old cliche is baseball's got a way of working things out. And let's see, Ben Brown's a great example of where does he fit? So I'm not saying no to Palencia as my closer, but bottom line is you can never have enough good, hard-throwing, high-leverage arms, and we gained one more today.
Luke, I got a quick question for you.
Yeah.
When you season your Omaha steaks at home, do you do a little Zeferjahn on top, or what do you like to do?
A little salt and pepper, and then a dash of Zeferjahn. Just
Dash.
a dash of Zeferjahn,
dash.
okay?
Little pinch.
Bam with
Pinch
the
of the-
Zeferjahn.
That's on your
Pinch of the
shirt.
John.
I just
dash.
want
At
you
the restaurant, they just go, you tell me a win. And they go, Zeferjahn, you tell me a
Zeferjahn?
win. I keep going.
You like it, the
Okay, I keep
Zeferjahn?
it going. I keep
You
it
like
going.
it, the Zeferjahn?
Okie dokie.
Okay.
But really fast.
Let me envision something for you, right?
Okay,
let's
sure.
let's put on Joey's crystal
Okay,
ball
cool.
in front of us. Do it. It's going like this. Joey's crystal ball, and we're looking inside of it. Here's a playoff game, and Gausman is starting.
Gausman, he's pitching well.
And he gets it through 4.5. And now you can go to Ben Brown for an important 4 or 5 outs. And now you can hand it over to Webb. And then you can hand it to Palencia and then to Zeferjahn. Bam, bam, bam. Or
Good night.
Gausman's going. He goes through that lineup. He gets 4 innings. You're not sure what to do. You had a righty on the mound. And Steele gives you 2. Steele gives you 3. And now you go Palencia, Webb, Zeferjahn. Like, there's a lot of possibilities that can come out of this. There's a lot of ways that the Cubs could make this work. I'm not saying they're going to win the World Series. I'm just saying this is going to be a fun ride to the postseason.
1,000%.
This Cubs team is going back to the playoffs.
Yes.
Done. It's happening. And when they get there, all bets are off. Could it be 1 series? Yeah. Could it be 2 or 3? The way they just made moves, this team is good enough to go further than they did last year.
And Jed agrees with you. Obviously, he doesn't do this if he doesn't believe that. Jacob Weddell says Zeferjahn had a 5-out save and struck out 4 against the Brewers last night. It's pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Like against our arch enemies.
That's right.
Love it.
Lars Nootbaar to the Cardinals, just very fast. I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm just like letting
from
people
the
know
Cardinals to
when
where?
things happen. Lars Nootbaar to the Diamondbacks.
To
the Arizona Diamondbacks.
this is important. Chad Dalrymple. There is no milk inside the crystal ball.
Man.
That's Roman's
that's
crystal
my
ball
thing.
that
Yeah,
has the
I
warm
got-
milk in there.
I got crushed on that one. But you know what? I got
Curds.
crushed on that one. But where I didn't get crushed
Curds in the crystal.
is playing Luke's Money.
Oh, here
it's a
we
new
go.
game we have. It's called Luke's Money.
Who were the names?
On Friday, we all picked out of a hat of like names that were going to get traded. If the Cubs got these guys, we would win money. Like Luke put in $20, Joey put in $20, I put in $20. I got the first point with Kevin Gausman.
Virtual 20.
All right, right here. And then, guys, I don't know if you noticed or not, but I have Clay Holmes as well.
Oh, so you have who now?
I have
You
two.
He's up 2-0.
I have Gausman and Clay Holmes. I'm a 2-0.
But I did have
Did you
cash. I had cash considerations.
No, you did not.
For Jamison
You had
Tyone.
Braxton Garrett, right?
And I'm pretty sure.
I don't think you did.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I had Tyrone Taylor
So
on there,
right
but we
now,
only did pitchers.
I am winning 2-0, and we have about 10 minutes left of the deadline, and I might be going home with $60, man.
Yeah. Niren's saying that's probably the scenario. 3, 2, 1, 1, 1. That's how a lot of teams did it. That's how a lot of successful teams are doing it.
And Roman is right. And here's the thing: is that if you don't still think that this is enough to beat the Dodgers, that's fine, because we would also call that, I guess, conventional wisdom. They won something like the last 2 World Series in a row, and they got the best player in the game. Did they get closer to having a shot at it? You're damn right. Mm-hmm. And I'm just so excited that, what was it, a month ago or whatever, I think the Cubs can win the World Series. I really do. And the fact that the front office feels the same way and is pushing towards that goal. And we did it last year. I felt like that Jed's mediocre, let's just call it, trade deadline, I thought was an insult to the locker room of a team that was trying really, really hard, that had come together, and I thought they had a lot of talent. And in the end, they got pretty far, and then they still fell short. This year, Jed's saying, I'm not making that mistake. And yeah, these moves are to beat the Brewers. Yeah, Niren, let's do it, man. Because I'll tell you, the other part about this is, you want to know the one thing that the Dodgers don't have? Everyone's focusing on what the Dodgers have. You know what the Dodgers don't have? Karma. Literally.
Maybe, yeah.
Literally.
Or the NL MVP.
Literally.
They don't have the NL MVP this year.
I mean, we see it sometimes, but I mean, there is going to be a large swath of baseball fans and human beings that will be rooting fervently against the Los Angeles Dodgers, more than there's ever been before. Oh, thank you, Niren. Thank you very much.
So think of a Cubs, Dodgers, NLCS, let's say. Joey, I'm with you. America will be rooting for the Cubs in that situation.
Yeah,
they will.
1,000%. You know,
They will.
Again, Luke, you said it before. I've
Can
said
you
it
buy
before.
happiness?
Jacob has another great comment, and I keep saying this because last year we thought, why even play the games? Dodgers were going to win the whole thing, and the Blue Jays took them to a Game 7, and the Blue Jays were an inch away from winning the World Series against the big bad Dodgers. It's baseball. Anything can happen. Just get in the dance. And Jed and Carter and Tom and the whole front office, they definitely made this team better. And Bobby Blanco's got a great comment. You know, this Cubs team is much better today than they were yesterday. And honestly, that's all you can ask for. They made the moves. Now it's up to council to put the pieces in the right spot and up to the players to play. Play to the best of your Gausman. We need Gausman to be the guy we saw in the World Series last year, you know? Clay Holmes, we need him to be the guy he was before the injury this year, you know? I need Cabrera to come back and be the talent that we know he has. Like, players have to play, but ultimately Jed and the front office did a phenomenal job giving us the pieces.
Yeah,
All right, well, hold on. We got breaking news here.
Uh-oh.
Vanilla Chill says, I get a point for just being me.
I thought
Did
we were going to.
Did you see that in the
thought
chat,
that was going to
Sarah?
slip
Vanilla
past.
Chill says, Luke gets a point for just being Luke.
No.
And with the cash considerations trade for Tyone,
No.
it looks like Roman and I are even Steven.
I thought that was going to slip past.
I have by the way, Luke made this game up. Luke invented this game
Oh, we got super chat.
that I'm currently winning 2-0. We'll see.
We have a Toyota super chat from Jacob saying, it's hard not to feel so much better about this pitching staff than I did 24 hours ago.
Facts.
You better believe that.
Facts.
And then says, to me, this deadline is an A because it shows Jed believes in this team, unlike last deadline.
Correct.
Let's go.
Agreed with that.
You don't have to,
Agreed
but the
with both.
general manager
And with Vanilla
believes
Chill,
in
of
this
course,
team.
too.
Yeah. And, like, think about it like this, too. I know we're talking about all the new guys because it's fun. Sometimes this also boosts the guys that are already on the team.
Has to.
How are you? I know that they're playing the big bad Dodgers tonight, but how are you not walking into that locker room tonight and walking to whoever shares the locker with Nico Horner and Dansby Swanson? How are they not walking up to each other and going, did you see what our boss just did?
Yep.
Let's go. Let's win a game tonight. Let's win a game tomorrow. Let's go streaking. I want to see Joey naked. I'm sure that's not what they're saying, but that's what they're thinking deep down inside. But how can they not, some of these guys, get a little pep in the step, right? Like, we mentioned this before about the 2016 team. They're not the same team. But what can sometimes happen to a group of players is when you do give them a jolt and that influx of talent. In 2016, they went on a 22-6 run in August. And that's when they absolutely took off like a rocket ship. And that's when it really started to feel real that this could be the team of destiny.
Rizzo said that the trade deadline gave that clubhouse a boost. They felt it to a man.
Yes.
Our front office believes in us. We believe in us. You know,
Yeah.
it gave them a jolt. So you're absolutely right.
Yeah, and how is Kevin Gausman now excited about coming to Chicago, pitching in front of, the Wrigley faithful, maybe against his former team on Thursday?
Maybe against Tyone, by the way.
as we're finding out.
Yeah, I heard it might be Tyone.
Well,
no?
yeah, we'll see. We'll see if they give
Can you
Tyone the
imagine?
start.
At Wrigley?
They
That'd
did
be
just
crazy.
trade for Soriano
we're
today.
both
That's true.
in the
Yeah,
air.
That's
I
true.
would think that they'll probably put Soriano in the mix instead of in front of old Tyone, but that would be absolutely hilarious.
epic.
That'd be it's been one of the stranger Cubs seasons that I've personally ever been a part of, and not just because I get to live it and enjoy it with you guys every day, which I'm very grateful for. But the injuries, the streaks, the emergence of Pete Crow Armstrong, and now this trade deadline. I mean, I don't know where this lands. I don't know where it goes, but you can't help but feel that there's something. There's a little something going on. Maybe just a sprinkle of that Zeferjahn right now. There's a little
dash.
extra something.
No, a dash.
A dash
of the
Zeferjahn.
Zeferjahn right now that I'm feeling.
We sprinkle the homes. We sprinkle the homes wherever we want.
I love it.
Hey, the next thing I want to see, other than a Cubs win tonight, and even another edition here in the last, what do we have? Couple
Coming
minutes,
up.
3 minutes. The next thing I want to see,
Yeah, Guardians are
the
going
next
nuts.
thing I want to see is PCA take Scooble deep twice.
Twice.
Take them deep twice.
All right.
Just to let you know that we're still going to be around. This is what I like about what the Cubs have done. They had major holes, and yet they were still in a playoff spot with all these injuries and all these holes. And now they've gone out and they said, all right, we've tried to patch the holes. Why? Because if guys come back, we're going to be real, real dangerous. Even if some of them don't come back, we're going to be real, real dangerous. Why? Mr. Pete Crow Armstrong, you've got yourself a superstar that does everything on the baseball field top level. Top level. And so when you've got that superstar player, before I would have looked at the Cubs and said, listen, if they get to the postseason, they are somehow going to have to outslug the best teams in baseball. It's not a recipe for success. It's just not a recipe for success because teams are going to do exactly what they did last year. They're going to have their starters dominate for 4 innings, and then they're going to try and use everybody else to take an inning off, an inning off, an inning off, and you're going to sit there and say, we didn't get it done. But now there's a scenario where the Cubs can also play that same game. And you still have an offense that has put up some of the most runs in the year, right, this season. You have an offense that might be able to do it multiple ways. The Cubs could nickel and dime you to get a couple runs across because they have a lot of guys that'll do the base hits. They've got the Nico Horners. They've got Bregman. They've got, okay, guys need to play well. But then they've also got PCA. And they've got Seiya, guys that could hit one tank that could change the game. So the Cubs could now do it with pitching. They could now do it with small ball. They could do it potentially with home runs from a few key players. They've given themselves a better chance, a better arsenal of ways to win playoff games, whether that's the bullpen or the starting rotation.
And when you talk about that formula, they're attacking it in a very specific way.
Yeah.
As in, what did we learn from the David Peterson trade is that the thing that we already knew is that our infield defense is pretty damn good. Our infield defense is the best infield defense in baseball, and we've got the best defensive player on the planet out there in center field, Gold Glover in left field. It's a pretty good combination there. And at least with these guys that they've brought in, you know, Gausman's 39% ground ball rate, okay. Clay Holmes, 55% ground ball rate.
Love it.
55% ground ball rate.
Love it.
That means balls going to Dansby Swanson and Nico Horner on the regular. Zeferjahn at about 42%. And even shout out to Braxton Garrett, who probably will not factor into this year. But still, 46.7 in 2023, back when he got 30 full starts with the Marlins. So there's a formula to this. There's a thought process behind all of it. And I think they've improved in the area that makes them really good. I think they've improved in the area that they needed, as in some velocity. I think they've improved in the area that they also needed, Roman, depth, which we've talked about a ton. And, Luke, man, I just think, Luke, you're bringing up a really good point that now the mixing and matching, I know you've done it again, just the mixing and matching that Craig can now do. Not just, you know, sometimes also we do the whole thing too where like, oh, man, they're throwing so-and-so and they're bringing this guy in. They're kind of blowing, they're emptying the chamber in a game one. There is a scenario where they could do something like that in a game one and do something like that in a game two, but it's a totally different cast of characters. And now you're kind of sitting there and waiting that can you integrate some of these new guys into your depth on the team? And then, yeah, your fingers are crossed that just pretend for a second one of those guys out of Cabrera, Steele, Palencia, Brown, if one of those guys, Roman, comes back at the peak of their powers, that's a whole nother thing on top of that too as well. It starts to get really, really, really interesting.
It's almost like Jed Hoyer isn't counting on any of our injured arms. He went out and just got arms. Yeah. And then everything else that we get from our injured internal staff is a bonus, right? And these could be some really, really big bonuses, but ultimately, like, volume. He needed arms, he got arms, and he got really, really good arms. Gausman obviously has postseason and World Series experience. And, Clay Holmes really fast, pitched in New York, the Yankees and the Mets. He's okay pitching with the bright lights and in a big-time market. So, ultimately, I'm thrilled. Great day to be a Cubs fan, for real.
Casey Mize to the Padres, too, as well, in the land of...
Teams are making moves, and was that true? Kirby Yates to the Pirates? The Pirates...
they got Weaver.
Pirates haven't given up.
Don't even. Don't even make me cry in front of a camera.
Zeferjahn and Weaver would have been nice,
Pirates
huh?
are acquiring reliever Lake Bashar from the Miami Marlins.
They're in.
Casey Mize to the Padres. Kirby Yates also to the Pirates. You're right. So look, the Pirates bullpen stinks. It's absolutely awful. So they did some pretty heavy lifting there to try and improve that area. They're a bit on the outside looking in for that third wild card, but why not? The Nationals are punting. The Diamondbacks are in on it. Padres are in. Pirates think that they can too. So
Joey, really fast. I know you really wanted Luke Weaver.
So badly.
But Zeferjahn, where does Zeferjahn rank against Luke Weaver for you? Because obviously that wasn't on our radar, but we got this stud of a reliever.
Yeah, so the big difference, obviously, is that Luke Weaver is owed $10 million next year.
Okay.
Zeferjahn is going to be coming, let's just say, a little bit on the cheaper side of that, too, as well. What's great about Luke Weaver that's a little bit different from Zeferjahn is he's got an amazing changeup and fastball combo. Doesn't throw quite as hard as Zeferjahn, but way better control, more of a track record. I know for a fact Luke Weaver can close for you. Okay. We're going to have to find out a little bit with Zeferjahn, who's gotten opportunities as recently as getting a 6-out save versus the Brewers. Yeah. I just think it's a little bit of a different look. Obviously, Zeferjahn also is 6'5". I mean, he's going to look. He's like
a little boy.
Yeah. Weaver is very skinny and a lot different. So in terms of quality, I think Weaver may be a touch more established. Obviously, more of a known name. Obviously more expensive, but I think the production that you could get out of Zeferjahn could be pretty damn close. So I'm excited to see how that works out.
Guys like
the control moving forward. 100%.
Everett in the chat says he's giving the Cubs an A if you include the David Peterson. Alex Cohen, friend of the show and voice of the Cubs, says Clay Holmes has been really good when healthy. 3.26 ERA as a starter after being a 2-time All-Star as a reliever. Again, that's something where he gives you that flexibility. We don't know how they want to use him in the postseason or late in the season, but I would assume it's a starter at the beginning.
And he's coming back from a fractured fibula, I believe.
That's right.
Too, so they're not going to chuck him out there and be like, hey, give us 90 pitches.
But he is also the guy that helped Ben Brown find the pitch that he's been using this season, right? Isn't Clay Holmes the guy that worked out with Ben Brown in the offseason?
Well, the other one is that Gausman also, as his changeup grip, is the changeup that Cade Horton taught himself.
But I believe Clay Holmes is the guy who, Ben Brown was like, man, I wanna learn, and Clay Holmes was like, yeah, dude, you wanna work out with me? Here's what to do. And he said they talked about everything going down last season, and he kind of credited Holmes with being the guy that helped turn his career around.
Amazing.
So knowing that, maybe he is a guy, especially depending on how things go here, but maybe he is a guy that you're able to extend before there is a lockout.
He's an extension candidate for sure, and he's, listen, like you said, before the injury, he was really good as a starter.
This year, he was great as a starter.
And I love the fact that it wasn't an arm injury, right? So ultimately, it wasn't like he's like had shoulder or elbow. It was a leg injury, I believe, right? So ultimately, like I like that versus damaged goods in the arm. But we got some more super chats, don't we?
Oh, more super chats. I do want to point out also, I like that the Cubs added 2 big righty starters when they're lefty heavy. I know everybody was talking Detmer, but I like that they've mixed it up and they've got variety now, especially if they are going to mix and match in a postseason. And I also like that they other than the Mets, which you could someday see Cole Mathis and you could see Jefferson Rojas and say, what could have been? Yeah. But they're blocked right now, okay? And other than that, they did a lot of trading in the American League, which makes me feel much better about things.
And it's also very obvious really fast that the Detmers rumor and everything, there was a bigger deal with Zeferjahn and Detmers, I want to say.
Probably.
And that fell apart for whatever reason, and the Cubs still really, really wanted Zeferjahn's. I sent you guys the screenshot, but the New York Post actually were the only ones that I saw naming prospects that were rumored to go back to Detmers, and Rojas is on that list, actually. So Jed obviously had like a war board with option A, option B, and give him credit for whatever. If it was something that was verbalized and it fell apart, I give him credit for pivoting. And now we got Clay Holmes.
Tough to say, right? You never know also when Angels are trying to execute a fire sale and they trade Joe Adell and they trade Jose Soriano, and then you never know when the owner just steps in and goes, hey, man, like
traded everybody.
You're trading everybody.
But not Detmers.
So Zach Neto obviously Zach Neto didn't move. Detmers didn't move. Trout didn't move. So you'll never quite exactly know what went down in that moment. Now, I guess the question maybe for the chat would be, would you have preferred Detmers by himself, or are you cool with
I like the
Clay
way it played
Holmes,
out.
Tyrone Taylor, and Ryan Zeferjahn?
I like the way
Some
it played
people
out
are
as
a
well.
little whatever on Zeferjahn because he did have a really rough start to his season in April, an ERA over 6. Not great, but again, Vinny Duber, who does excellent work for the Sun-Times and the Chicago Cubs, 1.3 at ERA since June 1, 0.66 in June, completely has turned his season around and has cut that ERA well by half over the course of the season. I mean, at the very least, he is a player that is trending in the right direction. And the cost of doing business turned out to be Moisés Ballesteros.
Zeferjahn, strikeouts.
Yes.
Swing and miss.
Yes.
Like
Velo-
97th
33%.
Velocity.
Automatically team leader. Automatic.
Pitch doctor Brendan Miller has jumped in the conversation on Twitter. Clay Holmes is a wonky, cerebral sinker pitcher who's going to put Nico and Dansby to work. If you like old school pitching, he's your guy. If you like new school, he's also your guy. And I know he was one that's been begging for Gausman.
Yeah.
Oh,
Pitch doctor's
for
been begging
like 9
for,
years.
Yes.
For 9
well, so have the
years.
Cubs. They've been tinkering with getting him for a long time. All right, more Toyota Super Chats as we continue the trade deadline show, which is now past, presented by our friends at Xfinity. Imagine that. Toyota Super Chat from, is it Chris Boucher?
No, it's Boucher.
Boucher.
Remember?
Oh,
Like
that's right,
voucher.
the voucher.
The voucher.
Voucher for the voucher. That's right. Have some deadline day celebration cake on my lads. These arms all come good for us, but if our bats stay cold, hot arms aren't going to make much of a difference. Love the channel and the show. Go Cubs. And I'm sorry I said Boucher. Because that was for $19.99. That's the voucher.
You're the man, Chris.
Love you. So we've had some good Toyota Super Chats. We've had a good crowd going. We still have 1,000+ eyes. The deadline is passed, but still some stuff has a way of trickling in yet.
I'm constantly refreshing
the Kirby
Twitter.
Yates thing has been very late. I thought it was interesting that the Pirates didn't punt.
Oh.
Well,
Didn't punt. They're trying to add just enough.
the other one with this is, and we're going to get to Ben James' super chat in just a second. I just want to throw it out here for the chat too as well of like, I know a lot of times we get tunnel vision on what the Cubs did or didn't do. My question in the chat is, I don't think I'm going to break any news here that I think Tarek Skubal was the treasure of the trade deadline. The Los Angeles Dodgers got him. And just by the mere fact of that happening, I would probably put them right at the very top, at least, of the winners of this trade deadline.
Yes.
Let's try and stick to just the National League for a second here, shall we? Casey Mize to the Padres is very interesting, in my opinion.
Morjan never got moved.
Morjan never got moved. The Braves did Tyler Mahle. They did Lane Thomas. Forgive me if I'm forgetting someone, but they did a couple things to kind of sort of nip tuck to kind of tighten things up a little bit. The Brewers, Dusty May, Jojo Romero, and
Antonio.
Senzaba.
Bo Naylor, Cody
Bo
Hoyer.
Naylor. Okay, also some small moves there. The Phillies, a lot of the same. Obviously the big one being Luis Arias, who's going to help out that lineup. But again, defensively, I think they'll be a disaster. So where do you kind of put the Cubs trade deadline? Where are you kind of ranking them in the National League right now, gentlemen? I mean,
where do I rank their deadline, or where do I? I'd
The
say where do I
deadline of-
rank them? Period. It's still Dodgers, everybody else,
okay.
but the Cubs are in that list of the next teams.
Yeah.
The Brewers might be in first place, but I don't feel any better about them moving forward, even with Mizorowski and Harrison. Like, if they would have gotten Skubal, I would have said, jeez.
I know, that would have pissed me off.
But it didn't happen.
Right.
So,
But the Cubs had a better deadline, in my opinion, than the Brewers.
Oh, I agree.
1,000%.
Yeah,
I agree.
That's where I'm landing on that.
And so now I look at it's the Brewers, the Cubs. The Padres still might be in that mix because of that bullpen. I don't know. Like, after the Dodgers, aren't the Cubs just as good as
Absolutely.
anybody else in the National League?
And, I'll say, too, that,
I think they are.
I know you guys wanted Skubal, and I'm sure everyone did. I mean, he's the best pitcher in baseball. But, I've said it before. I'll say it one more time. We needed volume. We needed arms. We needed multiple arms. We didn't need one arm, right? So, ultimately, we had a different deadline to navigate than the Dodgers did. I would say that the Brewers not getting Skubal definitely added to our deadline success, right? Because not only do we have a phenomenal deadline for our team and our specific needs, but our biggest rival didn't get the big prize, right? So ultimately, today's a great day for Cub fandom. I give this deadline definitely an A. I won't give it an A+ because I guess, you want Skubal, but ultimately, we had a perfect deadline for what we needed, and we needed a lot on the pitching side. So I can't ask for a better deadline than we had today.
The Cubs offseason, we gave high grades, like B+, A, B, all in that range. Injuries dismantled that.
Yes.
Just dismantled that offseason.
Yes.
And Cabrera not quite living up to the hype. Bregman's slow start, all of that. Now they've added another way at the trade deadline. Let's hope the results are better than the offseason results were for the Cubs.
Please.
And the two can mesh together. I'll say this. I am very, very confident that this Cubs team is good enough to get to the NLCS.
Same.
They're good enough to get further, one game further than they did last year.
Yep.
Beyond that, it's going to take some magic and some special things happening. But are they a team that's good enough to get to the NLCS? Yes. Unquestionably good enough to get to one of the final 4 teams.
I agree.
Can they chase down the division?
I don't know if they can chase down the division just because, what are we still at? Six and a half?
That's a lot. As of right now.
So it's a lot of games with not a lot of time.
I'm
but
asking
that doesn't
because of
mean
the-
I don't think that they may have caught the Brewers in talent and other things and depth potentially. So I think it's more likely that they could even get to the NLCS than it is that they will absolutely catch the Brewers.
Well, and also, too,
but both are still on the table.
If the Cubs and the Brewers face up in October, you're not scared. I know I'm not scared of that team. And I do think that, we can handle them and go at least one game further than we did last year. So, yeah, I'm with you guys for sure.
Let's get the super chat from our guy, near and dear, Ben James.
Oh, yeah.
Home of the streaking hat. And also, I have his sticker here that he sent to the Goose Bridal Coffee Brewing Company right there on there. Because he
my
deserves
rally
it.
cake hat.
Oh, man. Luke, can you read that? I'm blind.
Ben James says, my wife's first experience with the trade deadline day as an invested fan was 2021 house cleaning. She has yet to restore any faith belief in our front office. She still refuses to celebrate days like today.
We got PCA on that day, though. We got PCA in 2021 on this trade deadline day. So, Ben James, kind of, maybe explain to your wife, you had to have the lows to get the highs of the PCAs of the world in the sell-off, So,
and I also believe that they've made their team better today for a playoff run and playoff push this year. And I don't think they've given up, just on what I've seen, I don't think they've given up anybody that is going to be to the level of Pete Crow Armstrong in the future.
I agree.
Okay?
I agree.
So you win some,
Feels
you
safe.
lose some are gone. Torres was a tough guy to give up back in the day, but it was worth it to get Chapman.
Yes.
In this case, there's some guys that you may see later on and say, man, they were once a Cub, but right now is right now, and I can't worry about 2032 in 2026.
Yeah.
Well, and
that's somebody else's job,
And
not
that's
mine.
what's funny about Ben James. Thank you for the super chat, man. And I hope your wife does smile a little bit about today, because what I'm about to say is it's funny when you talk about breaking apart the Cubby core in 2021. It's all been hopefully them doing that was all kind of hopefully leading up to a moment like this.
Yep.
Specifically last year, I thought they had a pretty damn good shot at it. They opted not to go in to the degree that they've gone in this year. And when they broke apart that team in 2021, the idea was to build it back up, create a sustained winner, and take another run at it. And if anything just tells you about today is that Jed's been at least working and thinking about this. They were bad in 22. They surprised maybe a little bit in 23. They disappointed in 24. 25, we almost made it to the NLCS. We're one win away. went away from the NLCS, and now this is the year when they're in that exact same position again. But this time around, Jed just brought in 5 players. Mm-hmm. I mean, and that's what hopefully, 2021 to 2026 sounds like a long time because damn it is. Wasn't living in this state last time that happened.
Wow.
But Roman, like that's what this has been all building towards.
Yep.
And I've maintained like very, very firmly that Jed understands that this is the winning window is right now. And I think today validates and affirms that I think he also believes that too as well, because he thinks that this team might be able to be special enough. And he is literally doing it in the face of the wind of the big bad LA Dodgers.
I'm with Bobby Blanco in his most recent comment, which is outside of the Dodgers, the Cubs won the deadline.
Yeah.
And I think I can go as far as to say that.
Good call, Bobby.
You can't discount the Dodgers because they got the best pitcher on the planet. So, okay, fine. But we had different needs. So I'm with you. Besides the Dodgers, our Chicago Cubs won the deadline. Jed went out and specifically filled our needs, our holes, and he did a damn good job doing that, And again, add on top of that, the Brewers did not get Skubal. Add on top of that, we did not give up the guys we thought were going to give up. We thought we're going to be hurting today, giving up Matt Shaw or Pedro Ramirez or Jackson Wiggins or whoever. But we didn't, And Mo Baller, listen, I hope he has a great career.
Me too.
I don't see him as a big-time power slugger in the DH spot. So that's all he could play for us. Rojas, listen, I hope he has a good career. But our infield is set for years to come. So all in all, it was a perfect deadline for the needs of our Chicago Cubs. Bobby, great comment. I agree. I think we won the deadline outside of the Dodgers.
Yeah, I hope that Mo Baller goes on to become a shot caller, 20-inch blades on his Impaler. All those things, right?
Shout out to Lil Troy.
But
Pass to Troy, sorry.
it's not going to be with the Cubs. And credit to all the Cubs prospects that helped this day happen, whether it was by proving themselves and staying or proving themselves to another team so you could get veteran players in now. The Cubs had a lot of guys. I don't know if at the beginning of the season it was necessarily the players you thought that were going to step up and make different moves and come up. But that's why baseball's so fun. That's why it's so fun. You never really know going into it what the perfect move is going to be. Skubal to the Dodgers sounds like a pretty perfect move. But the Cubs made a lot of moves that put them in the mix. I say puts them in the top 4 or 5 of Major League Baseball. And if you could get to them, it's a tough day for anybody that says Jed never goes for it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
because
absolutely.
I think he pushed pretty hard to get the Cubs into the top 5 of Major League Baseball.
He's all in
a season where they lost basically their whole rotation.
He's all in. Anybody who tells you different, just look at the facts here. He went all in, and yeah, it's a bad day for Jed Hoyer haters today for sure.
2 things really quick. Still got 1,000 people in the chat. Only 217 likes. Gang, it's free. All you got to do is just hit the like button.
The love is free, too.
With your little finger like this, just press it, smash it. We greatly appreciate it. We love hanging out with you guys. It's days like today that make us so happy to be Cubs fans and what makes the next couple months so exciting. The other one is, Sarah, do you have a grade right now for this Cubs trade deadline? Or do you have a feeling? Are you excited? Are you disappointed? Do you still hate Seiya Suzuki? Where are you at?
No, I like it. I like that we got a bunch of pitchers. I don't still hate Seiya, but I know he's not going to be here for much longer, so it's fine.
man.
Sarah,
But no, I think
down the days.
So when he's the MVP of the postseason, then he's going to price himself out of the Cubs. Is that the deal?
yeah. But
Yeah.
no, I like. I think Jed did a great thing. You guys, I completely agree with it all. I mean, it's better than him not doing anything, and it's better than him just getting like 2 average pitchers. Like he got a lot, and so no, I'm happy. I'm excited to see them all play.
Same.
You know what else I want to say to the chat and the almost 1,100 people that are still watching? If you haven't subscribed to the CHGO Sports YouTube page, make sure you do it. That's where we are for every post-game show, right?
Also
and
free.
Cubs related, also free. We're going to be there for an hour after the game today, continuing this conversation, but also adding in the Cubs post-game conversation. And we'll be talking about Skubal coming up on Tuesday. And hopefully we'll be talking about Gausman pitching on Wednesday or something like that.
Yeah.
But we also want to tell you what the Cubs have done is given us merch. Because right now we have one of the greatest players in the game And I can't remember who recently said this. It caught me, and I thought, what on earth? This was a reputable name, and this reputable, why can't I remember the name? They said when it's all said and done, PCA is going to be the greatest Major League Baseball player that we've seen outside of Barry Bonds.
Really?
And I was like,
wait, was that on ESPN 1000? Or
no,
was
this was, I believe this was a national name. Anyway, I'll find it. Unless somebody knows it. Anyways, I was excited by that. But we have the MVP shirt amongst our beautiful merch at our store at allchgo.com, including articles from Tony Andracki and Jared Willis and all the fun that we have there. But the MVP in the powder blue, here we thought last year the sales were going to start to dwindle off as he had a rough second half. Oh, he's back. Woo, is he back? And the shirt's going to be flying off. Make sure you have it for your playoff push and wear it with pride. And we have all the other merch out there. And if you sign up to be a diehard, you get a free shirt.
Huh, done.
And, of course, the access that a diehard comes with. You get into the Discord, all that cool stuff. Anyways, if you're new to CHGO and today was the first experience, we hope you enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. It's not over for the day because we're going to be watching. And, by the way, Wednesday we'll have the watch-along, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a day game, by the way.
7:30 on Wednesday watch-along day. Well, Wednesday and Thursday day games.
Yeah, back-to-back.
Yeah, we're still, I believe we're 10-4 on the season on the Wednesday watch-alongs. So that's a good way to come in and pick up a win. And, yeah, can you imagine if the Cubs fly the W tonight? Just do yourself a favor.
Against the Dodgers?
Do yourself a favor and just say, you know what? If the Cubs fly the W tonight, I'm going to come back in and just check in with my guys just really fast and hang out with us for a couple minutes. If they lose, the real ones, the sickos, come back in. If you need a therapy session too as well, we're going to be there to talk about it because it is one game of 162, but feels damn good today to be a Cubs fan.
It's also Matthew Boyd, and he's somebody you're counting on in October, right? So let's see how he goes. Let's see how he does. He's been on a phenomenal, I believe, 7 starts in a row. He's been on a phenomenal run. Let's see how somebody who we have penciled in our playoff rotation does against the big, bad Dodgers tonight. I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Before we go and get ready to watch the game and the postgame and all that, which player acquired by the Cubs will turn out to be the biggest move?
If I'm being, that's a great question. You know what? There's a part of me that thinks that Gausman is gonna turn the clocks back a little bit, and he's gonna be a guy that every 5th day you're gonna feel pretty damn good about the Cubs coming out with a win. And he's also gonna be a guy that my hot take on that is that I think on this show, other shows that you listen to, national radio, whatever it is, you are going to have to listen to some segments of people going, should we re-sign Gausman? What do you think it would cost?
All right.
He's been a good Cub. What do you think?
Yeah.
That's my hot take
a good
right
choice.
now.
My choice is Clay Holmes.
Okay.
I think Clay Holmes is going to be really good for the Cubs.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what the role is going to be once
Right.
you get to the postseason.
Could be
but
anything.
right now, he's going to be good for him when he gets back from his injury.
Just to be a little different, and actually I kind of do feel this way. I think that Zeferjahn. We need high velocity and high leverage in our bullpen. Our bullpen's been we talked about our triangle of trust. At times has nobody in it, right? So I think that you have a possible young, high leverage, hard throwing stud in the bullpen with Zeferjahn. I think he's going to be the gem of this, not just for this year, but the fact that we have him until 2030 is a bonus.
Did you see that Bouchy got his free shirt
In Ireland.
in 4 days?
Crazy.
That's how we do it.
That's service right there,
Easy
folks.
as
That's
that.
service. Hey, big shout out to Xfinity for the loft and for this trade deadline special edition of the CHGO Cubs podcast. Again, we are back after the game. We enjoyed the trade deadline, and it's been miserable for about 4 years straight.
This was a good one.
This was an enjoyable one.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching and hanging with us. We appreciate it. Hope you'll come back next time, which will be after the game. Until then, fly the W.
Go Cubs. Boo Doyers.
We all silly like the mayor.